Right, so today we're talking about the effect of stress on recovery. Now, there is research on this. I mean, it's something that a lot of people say, athletes say, oh, you need to stay stress-free, that impacts recovery, impacts training, hormones and all the rest of it. And it's very true. Interestingly, they did a study on this where they looked at creatine kinase levels, which is basically when you break muscle down from resistance training, is a good indicator of recovery. Obviously, if your body's cleared all that out, then you've obviously recovered effectively, is what they're looking at. So what they did is they purposefully put one group of people who they trained the same in a group where they stressed them out a little bit, and the other group they kept them in more of a zen-like state and kept them chilled out. And then they monitored the creatine kinase levels. Well, amazingly, what they found is it took 72 hours longer on average to get rid of the creatine kinase levels back to baseline levels in the stress group. So what this means is if you're training and you're stressed and all the other things that involve recovery as well, you can massively impact how slow or how fast you can recover. This is really important when you're thinking of how you plan your training out. If you're obviously in a very stressful job and you've had kids and your kids are awake at night and keeping you awake and all that sort of stuff, you have to factor this in. Otherwise you're risking overtraining, you're risking illness, you're risking injury and all the rest of it. So of course it's very, very important to make sure that you factor this in, and if possible try and keep in a much stressed or less stressful state. Obviously there are ploys you can take. Obviously I'm a physio, so I'm not an expert in these areas, but things like meditation, things like mindfulness, obviously there are various stress management counseling type of things you can do as well. But then there's the obvious stuff, just being chilled out a little bit more about things, don't over stress about stuff, and and obviously monitor how that goes. Stress is a very important factor. Obviously as a physio, that's also not just important for training and recovery from training, but it's also recovery from injury as well. Now if you think about it logically, when you're injured, generally you're going to be pretty stressed. In fact, they've done studies in the past and found that even Premier League footballers are actually clinically depressed while injured. Well, obviously this is not just a bit down in the dumps. This is actual clinical depression. So what this highlights is that your hormones and all the various things can be really out of whack when you're injured, and of course you're going to be worried, you're going to be anxious, and you're going to be stressed. So this is going to impact on things. Now it's easier said than done to say, well, you're injured, you'll be fine, build up slowly and progress, and get your physio and manage the symptoms and so on, which is all well and good, but some people are better at these things than others with regards to staying more chilled out. Some people might catastrophize more and everything else. Obviously, if someone came to see me, I could hopefully point them in the right direction with regards how they can help this side of the coin. But it is very important. So hopefully that clears that up. So stress is a bad thing. We know this anyway, but it's even bad for recovery from training and recovery from injury. So that's all for now, and I'll see you next time. We want to keep making great content for our subscribers, so if anyone would like to support the channel by making a pledge, then we would be extremely grateful, and you can do this on our Patreon page here.